So the next film I'm going to talk about, I do remember watching. This was on Saturday, and it's a documentary, and it was on Mubi, but Mubi, it expired. I watched it, much like I used to do with Filmstruck. I watched it right before it expired on Mubi, and this is Tamara Jenkins's Jean-Michel Basquiat, The Radiant Child. It's a documentary from 2010, and I saw, obviously, last year. Oh, it's on Amazon Prime, too. Oh, you can watch it on Amazon Prime. Okay. So I really, really enjoyed Sarah Driver's Boom for Real, the late teenage years of Jean-Michel Basquiat from last year. It premiered festivals 2017, and then it played theaters 2018. And I saw a lot of comparisons to this film, and I hadn't seen this film, so I couldn't really talk to that, except for the fact that I generally don't like negative comparisons. It's like... having just done that while talking about Barfly and that other review, I think there's ways to do it that are constructive, and I don't know that they're often done when talking about comparisons that way. The reason I bring this up is both films sort of almost bookends to each other and fill in gaps that the others don't. So The Radiant Child is very much looking from when he comes to Manhattan to when he dies. Spoiler alert, Basquiat died. And utilizes interviews with people who knew him and interviews that Jenkins had of him when he was alive, because they had known each other when he was in Los Angeles. So she attempts to sort of paint a picture of who he was as an artist and how fame sort of came in. Fame and grief, actually. Grief at the loss of Warhol is sort of an argument made in this film. Created his downfall. And in Boom for Real, as it says, it's about his late teenage years, and it's literally about a 2-year period in 79, 3-year period, 79 to 81, before he was famous, when he was making his way in Manhattan, and what that art scene was like. And it's less about Basquiat and more about the art scene in which he found himself. And so if you watch both films, you get a better, I think, picture, or a more complete picture of him and that art scene. Some of the same people are interviewed in both documentaries. And I think, much like the Fry Festival docs that I still haven't watched, they complement each other and don't have a lot of overlap, because it's a rich time period in New York's history, and Basquiat is a very interesting person, not just in the art world, but in history, period. And having multiple takes on his life, I think, are interesting. But also, comparing the two docs when one is clearly a comprehensive look and one is a very pointed look at a certain period is just folly. And why not both? So I really liked Radiant Child. I liked the way it tried to break down sort of who he was as an artist, who he was as a person, who he was within the scope of art history at that time, and, you know, when this film came out, the legacy that he left, the things in which he drew from, and the things in which he sort of pioneered. I particularly liked an interview with this one woman from MoMA who basically said that she knows she's found something pioneering and different when it confuses her or makes her angry, or she doesn't understand it, because she knows that her entire knowledge of art is based in the past, in art history, and that if something is coming that is so new, it should confound her, and it should shake her to her core, and it should make her think, I don't even know what this is, I can't comprehend it, because that means it's new, and it's not like what she knows. And I thought that was a really interesting perspective on him as an artist, and on just art in general. And Radiant Child also attempts to break down little bits of how racism keeps certain kinds of artists out of the spotlight, and how even though he made a ton of money when he was alive, the way that he was positioned within the art world was very exoticized and very kind of low-key racist in a way that probably made him even more Not that I want to layer excuses on how he, became a drug addict and died, but they probably didn't help by being so othered in a space that was also attempting to elevate. Like, he just wanted to be considered a great artist and let into these art galleries like anybody else, not because he was an exoticized, look, we brought some things different in. He wanted to be different in that he was groundbreaking, but not different and then as in othered and a special, feature or whatever. And you see a lot of that in the interviews that Davis has with him. So I really enjoyed this film. It's a great doc, great art doc. So this is Jean-Michel Basquiat, The Radiant Child. I definitely recommend also checking out Sarah Driver's Boom for Real. They're both great films. If you like Basquiat, they're both really eye-opening in terms of his impact on the world.